They get set to host the Tigers of Benedict College in SIAC baseball play. Glad you could join us for the coverage here on GTSN. And the Golden Tigers at 12-25, 8-16 against the Tigers of Benedict, 15-10 and 13-10 in conference play. Tuskegee with a couple of major series left in the season, with the Golden Tigers hosting the Tigers today, and then another big series against Lane at the end of the season, trying to jump from 10 to 8 to make sure that they are part of the SIAC baseball tournament, which comes first week in May. So some work to be done by Coach Chadwick Hall and the Golden Tigers as we start a 3-game series against the Tigers of Benedict College. Very significant for Tuskegee. They need to win all of these ball games if they don't expect to get some help from the teams just in front of them, which will be Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. Those two schools with series in front of them to close out their part of the season. But Tuskegee this afternoon against the Tigers, looking to do the heavy lifting themselves against Benedict College. We'll get you set for first pitch action here in a moment. We'll take a break here on GTSN.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15.
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Tell them to get that music.
They got it.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
And we're back live here at Washington Field just as the Golden Tigers get set to meet the Tigers of Benedict College with head coach Chadwick Hall. Coach, needless to say, this is a very critical series for the Golden Tigers.
Yes, every game is a playoff from here on out. So this is going to be a big game right here going into this series. Game 1 is going to mean a lot. So we've got to come out here ready to fight.
You got Mason going for you on the mound this afternoon. What are you looking for him from off the hill?
Strike one, first pitch strike, and we tend to get outs when we get first pitch strike and we get ahead in the count.
Good luck in the game today, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Head coach Chadwick Hall, they get set to meet the Tigers of Benedict College just ahead here on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities, healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen. Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Hi, Tuskegee fans. I'm Coach Chad Hall, your head baseball coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU.
Back live here at Washington Field, Golden Tigers of Tuskegee getting set to meet the Tigers of Benedict College. 3-game series, one today, and doubleheader action tomorrow here from Washington Field. And as you heard Coach Hall reference, this is a critical series for the Golden Tigers. They can win out here. Then they meet Lane at the end of this season with another 3-game series. Those ball games are going to be important for Tuskegee to stay in contention to try to get into the top 8 in the SIAC for the tournament. They will send to the hill, the Golden Tigers will. Mikael Mason, the senior from Harker Heights, Texas. Mason on the season, 9.3 ERA. This will be his 12th appearance for Tuskegee, 5-5 on the campaign. He'll come in, giving up 48 hits, 53 runs, 65 base on balls, and 36 strikeouts for the senior. He will go up against Juan Guardado to start things off for the Tigers of Benedict. It'll be Guardado, Nicholas Joya, and then Isaiah Cante, the top 3 for Selwyn Young, the head coach of the Tigers of Benedict College. So set to begin here in an SIAC contest. Mason rocks and fires. First pitch is in for a strike. So first pitch over from Mason, in for a strike, and we're underway here from Washington Field. Glad you could join us for our coverage on GTSN. Overcast skies here. No rain predicted in the forecast. They had some here in the Tuskegee area last night, and hopefully it's all pushed off on a big weekend for Tuskegee athletics, starting with baseball this afternoon and a whole contingent of things going on tomorrow. We'll talk more about that as this ball game unfolds. Mason fires on a 1-1 pitch. That one's over but off the plate, and we're at 2-1. Scott Wynn behind the plate doing the balls and strikes with the umpire crew. And that pitch, a fastball by Mason, delivered in for a strike. Greg Elder, the field umpire, standing behind first base, or the referee there. Count at 2-2. Curveball. That's called strike 3. Good pitch there by Mason to get things started. You heard Coach Hall talking about the importance of getting off on the right foot. And McHale there with the strikeout of Guardado to get things started here in the top of the first. Coming to the plate now, Nicholas Joya. Joya playing shortstop for the Tigers of Benedict. He'll step in. Took a pitch there. That one's off the plate for ball 1. Joya, sophomore from Mary Lake, Florida. .420 batting average for the Tigers of Benedict. Benedict 15th in the nation in Division II in batting average as a team at .336. Mason misses on that second pitch. And the count now 2 balls, no strikes as Joya steps back in. Mason, team's batting .265 against him. Rocks and fires, looking for the inside corner, but in too tight. And the count at 3-0. Series between Tuskegee and Benedict. This is the 29th meeting between the squads today. Dates back to 2004. There's a strike delivered by McHale to make it a 3-1 count. Benedict leads the series 18-10. Last meeting was at Benedict, February of last year, and that one in too tight on Joya. And Joya, the first base runner in the ball game for Benedict, draws the walk. He'll go down to first base, and that will bring up the third baseman, Isaiah Cante. Cante steps to the plate. .424 batting average, leads Benedict in terms of hits with 39. 32 RBI and 73 total bases for Cante. First pitch offered by Mason, in tight on the corner, call strike 1. So McHale going from the stretch now with Joya down at first base. Retired Guardado on a strikeout, throw back over the first, just a little lob there to get Joya back to the bag. Tuskegee on the infield, Alex Glass at third, Devin Lee at short, Ryan Morrow at second, and Scott Williams at first base. He's holding Joya. Pitch swung on and fouled back. Joya was going on the pitch, but he'll have to retrace his steps and head back to first base. So Mason ahead in the count on Cante. No balls, 2 strikes. Behind the plate for Tuskegee, Samarian Ward with the battery of Mason on the mound. 0-2 delivery. And the throw back over the first. They had Joya leaning just a little bit, but the throw a little high over to Williams at first base. Tuskegee trying to protect here, not to allow Joya to get down to second base. Joya on the season, 6 of 6 in stolen bases, slides back in there, diving back in as another throw from McHale from the mound for Tuskegee. McHale had an account, no balls, 2 strikes. He's already retired Guardado. Pitch going there, the throw down, the second good throw there, and the tag. Bingo down at second base. Ward with the good aggressive throw from behind the plate, right on target. Morrow covering at second base, and Ryan able to put the tag on Joya. And Joya not so joyous as he heads back to the Benedict dugout, thrown out at second base, caught stealing. That's the first time this year that he's been caught stealing. And 2 down here, and there's a called strike 3. How about that? Good inning for Tuskegee there. They faced the minimum number of batters in that first frame of the top half of the first. TU coming to bat. It'll be Pratt, Lee, and Morrow, the 3 up for Coach Hall and Tuskegee after the timeout.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
I'm Rolandus Rice, Chief Operating Officer and the Vice President for Student Affairs at Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tigers Sports Network.
Dr. Rice, you're right on cue. This is the Golden Tigers Sports Network, and we're live at Washington Field here on the campus of Tuskegee University. Bottom half of the first we go. On the mound for the Tigers of Benedict College, they'll send up Braylon Duran, the junior from New York, New York. Duran, one of their leading pitchers in their rotation, 5.1 ERA. He's 4-0 in terms of a one-loss record on the season. This will be his 10th appearance this season for the Tigers of Benedict College. He'll come into today's ball game, 54 1/3 innings pitched for Benedict, giving up 50 hits, 41 runs, 17 base on balls, and 53 strikeouts for the junior from Benedict. He will go up against Tuskegee's batting lineup with Nicholas Pratt, Devin Lee, Ryan Morrow, then Alex Glass, Scott Williams, John Saffold, followed by Jabari Johnson, Samarian Ward, and James Slaughter. The lineup for Tuskegee, and head coach Chadwick Hall, he's in his 3rd season, assisted by James Jackson and Dimitri Dinsmore Jr. So, Tuskegee, after facing the minimum in the top half of the first, they come to the plate now. Nicholas Pratt steps in, and Pratt comes to the plate with a .281 batting average and a ball out there in center field. And now it's retrieved. The defense for the Tigers of Benedict is Duran on the hill and Guardado behind the plate catching. First pitch there to Pratt is over for a strike from Duran. From first to third base, it's Justin Murray at first, Jonathan Omido at second. As Pratt takes another pitch in there for a strike, and then at shortstop it's Joya, and at third Isaiah Canty. In the outfield for the Tigers, Jaquez Aiken in left, Jamil Mitchell in center, and Elijah Banks out in right field. This one may get down, and it will. Good piece of hitting there by Nicholas Pratt down in the count. 0-2, fastball out over the plate, and Nick reached out and just pushed it out in the right field, and he's aboard for Tuskegee to get things started here in the bottom of the first. Tuskegee looking to start early here. You heard Coach Hall talking about that. It will be important for them not to play from behind, but from out front. Devin Lee, the shortstop, the sophomore from Atlanta, steps in. Second-team all-conference player. Throw back over the first. Pratt back, sliding in for Tuskegee. Nick with a good start for TU with that base hit out to right field. Bottom of the second, Duran from the stretch. Devin at the plate, the lefty, took a pitch and swings at it. It'll come down, looks like it may fall. No, they got some room out there in left field. That's Jaquez Akins. He runs it down. So one pitch and Lee is retired. Thought that one might have gotten down. That wind looked like it may caught it and pull it down quicker, but it stayed up there. Akins able to make the catch and retire Devin on the fly out to left field. So that'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Morrow, that is. Ryan on the season, leading batter for Tuskegee, 368 batting average. Duran with the pitch, fires. That one's up and out of the zone for ball one. Ryan, the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, 43 of 117 hitting for the sophomore. Pratt down at first base. Duran from the stretch, 1 ball, no strikes, throws it back over, and Nicholas dives back in for TU. Morrow leading Tuskegee in several offensive categories. Average RBI with 33, total bases 58, tied for first and runs scored with 25, slugging percentage, and going on the pitch is Pratt. Throw is high at second base. Nicholas steals second base, and he is in scoring position now for Tuskegee. Good jump there by Pratt at first to take second base. 8th successful steal there for Nicholas Pratt. He's down at second, 1 down. Morrow ahead in the count on Duran, 1 ball, no strikes. They throw back to second, but nobody's there. Coming in from second was Omido, but he stopped about halfway. Pratt at second, Duran from the stretch, and a delivery to the plate. That one's in for a strike from Duran. Team's batting .236 against a right-hander. He looks back to second. 2-1 delivery. That one swatted on to the second baseman. Fielded there by Omido. He'll throw it over to first to Murray to retire. Morrow down at first, but that will move Pratt over to third base with 2 down. So it's up to Alex Glass, the third baseman for Tuskegee, to see if he can get Pratt across, get Tuskegee in the scoring column first. Alex, a senior from Birmingham, .342 batting average coming into this weekend series. Duran rocks and fires. That one on the corner for a strike. Duran with the fastball there, found the corner. Set for the 0-1. And that in for a strike as well. Alex thought that one was a little bit out of the zone, but he's quickly behind in the count now. No balls, 2 strikes. Scott Williams on deck for Tuskegee. Duran rocks and fires. This one swung on and missed by Glass on 3 pitches. He's retired. And Tuskegee threatens here in the bottom of the first, but they come away empty. They got Pratt all the way over to third after he singled to get on, but that's where they leave him. We head to the top of the second, no score. Benedict back to the plate. More on GTSN.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Hey, Tuskegee fans, I'm Reginald Ruffin, Director of Athletics, and you are listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go to you.
Always exhorting the troops on at Tuskegee University, Athletics Director Reginald Ruffin, executive producer of the Golden Tiger Sports Network. We can't thank him enough for his leadership and guidance and recognizing how important the network is for these student athletes at Tuskegee University. A chance to showcase the talent of these student athletes to friends and families who can't necessarily make it every game here to Tuskegee, and a good way for them to stay in tune with their favorite student athletes and the program at Tuskegee University. Into the top of the second we go, no score. Tigers of Benedict College getting set to send up the first baseman Justin Murray. He'll be followed by the left fielder Jaquez Akins, and he will be followed by the designated hitter Carson Fellows. So those are the three for head coach Selwyn Young. Coach Young in his 16th season at Benedict, the senior coaches in the SIAC, and a stellar reputation as a head coach. First pitch there from Mason is a curveball, over but off the plate for ball one. Murray, a senior, 6'4", 225 from Toronto, Canada. Swung on and missed on another curveball there by Mason. So McHale doubling up on the changeup with the curve, and he got that one over. Count to 1-1. That pitch, they're still going with that change of pace. Curveball there, over but off the plate. The count to 2-1. Selwyn Young, 16th season at Benedict, 51% win percentage for him over his time at Benedict. That one bounced up there by Mason. The count now to 3-1. Overcast day here in Tuskegee, coming off the rains last night. Dark clouds to our right, which pushing across the Cleve Abbott Football Stadium here across the diamond at Washington Field. There's a pitch there. That one's low, and Murray draws a walk here to start at the top of the second. So he's aboard. Nobody down. Forecast for warmer weather tomorrow here in Tuskegee. Just trying to get through this Friday on a day where the clouds continue to move in. We can get a little cooler here as this game progresses as Jaquez Akins steps in now for Benedict. The pitch by Mason is up in the zone. Mason taking that one for ball one. Or beg your pardon, Akins taking it from one. He's a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. 385 batting average for Jaquez. And McHale. One ball, swings and a misses there. Akins, and a good pitch from Mason. Fastball at the corner. And the pace by Mason's fastball, impressive at this point. Count at 1-1. Curveball there and way out front with that. Good change of pace there. Good call there from the catcher, Scott Williams, to locate that curveball. As the previous pitch with the fastball at the corner, they had Aiken way off balance there. So Mason ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, top of the second. They go with a change on the curveball again, but this one off the plate and wide. So it's at 2-2, and down at first base is the first baseman for the Tigers of Benedict, Justin Murray. He drew a walk to start the top half of the second. Throw over there, sliding back in is the long-legged Murray, and he'll make it back to the bag safely. 2-2 count on Aiken. Fellows on deck for Benedict. Another throw over, this time Murray able to step back on the bag. Mason, 2-2 delivery. This one chopped on and wide and out of play. Back to our right. And they'll reset it. Two delivery from Mason. This one on the ground and through the hole. Scott Williams was holding the runner close at first base. The gap wide between he and the second baseman Ryan Morrow, and a good piece of hitting there by Akins. And he's aboard with a single, and he'll push Murray down to second after he walked. So nobody out here in the top of the second. Carson Fellows to the plate here for Benedict. Mason could certainly use a ground ball here, perhaps a double play. Ease some of this, get that lead runner, be wonderful. Pitch there on the ground, but it's wide at third base. And into that Tuskegee dugout. Alex Glass hugging the line at third. And at the plate, Carson Fellows. Fellows a .220 batting average. Batting in the designated hitter spot this afternoon for Benedict. Runners at second and first. Murray at second, Aiken at first. Here's the pitch. And on the inside, and Scott Wynn behind the plate with calling the balls and strikes. Laid off of that one, said it was too low on the inside, so the count at 1-1 now. Tuskegee looking for a ground ball here. Choking up on the bat a little bit is Fellows. Here's the pitch from Mason. In tight again for ball 2. Trying to stay on the inside. They don't want Fellows to be able to stretch those arms across the plate and extend anything. 2 balls, 1 strike. From the stretch, McHale to the plate. This one lined out, and that's just wide of the chalk down the left field line. Fellows, aggressive swing there. But foul ball, that'll make it 2-2. Mason would love a strikeout here if he can get it here. 2-2 pitch, swung on the ground. It's a dribbler, though, and bobbled there by Glass at third base. It would have been difficult to throw anybody out on that play anyway. That's akin to a bunt there by Fellows. Swung at it, but it dribbled right to the right of the mound. Glass at third was charging. Bobbled it. Don't believe he would have had a play. Certainly did not have a play on the lead runner, Murray. So he's at third now. And down to second goes Aiken. And Fellows, he'll get on a base hit. So the bases are loaded now for Benedict here in the top of the second. Nobody out. At the plate for Benedict now, it's Omidu. Omidu, the second baseman for the Tigers of Benedict. Took a pitch there and swings at the second one on a low pitch there from Mason to even the count at 1-1. Bases loaded for Benedict, top of the second. Mason rocks and fires. Curveball, that one's up out of the strike zone. That'll make it 2 balls, 1 strike. I beg your pardon, 1 ball, 2 strikes there, as that was the first ball off the plate from Mason. So McHale ahead in the count. Pitch swung on, foul tip, and caught there by Scott Williams. Good job of hanging on to that ball there. And Omidu is retired on strikes, so Tuskegee gets its first out here in the top of the second, but still a lot of choppy waters ahead for the Tigers of Tuskegee. At third is Murray for Benedict. Aikens down at second. And Fellows, he's down at first as head coach Selwyn Young challenges that play at the plate. And I think they are going to say that the ball was not caught by Williams after the foul tip from Omidu, as we take a look at it here on the replay. Wow. Scott saying that he had it. You can see the baseball in the webbing, and you see Scott Wynn's initial call that it was caught by him, but they reversed it after taking a look at it. And this one just off the plate, and that'll make it 2-2. Caught that on replay. Nice job by our crew to have that. Just the officials didn't agree with what we saw on the screen. 2-2 delivery from Mason. This one chopped on and wide of first on a foul ball. Murray, he's at third base. He got on a walk. And then Aikens singled and Fellows singled. So the bases are loaded. Pitch there, chopped on right in front of the plate, coming back to the plate with the throw there. The old Ged Murray coming across before he's able to do that and get that lead runner. Good job there. Hopping off of the mound there was Mikel Mason for Tuskegee. As again, that one looked close to a bunt on the swing, but right there in front of the plate. And Mikel jumping right on, and a little soft toss there to Scott at the plate, and they retire Murray. So they got the lead runner there on that play. And it's 2 down here for the Tigers of Benedict. So the battery for Tuskegee retiring that batter with Mason tossing to Ward, I beg your pardon, behind the plate. It's Marion Ward doing the catching this afternoon for Tuskegee. Pitch there, curveball in, and not a call there for a strike, though, as Elijah Banks displaying a good eye and took that ball on the inside. Sacks still full for Benedict. Mason trying to get out of some trouble here. Here's a pitch, splits the middle of the plate with the fastball. Nice job by Mason with the giddy up on the fastball to make it 1-1. Surrounded by Tigers on the base pads. This one chopped on and fouled at the plate. And Mason ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Marion Ward, the freshman behind the plate for Tuskegee. Scott Williams at first base for Tuskegee. 0-2 delivery from Mason. Rocks and fires, curveball and off of the front foot of Banks. And they'll reset it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down here, top of the second. Tuskegee, boy, they'll be breathing a big sigh of relief if they can come into that dugout without giving up a run. Bases loaded. It was bases loaded with nobody out. Now bases loaded with 2 down. Mason with the pitch, chopped on, and that one's wide of first base. Tigers could have run forever there if Banks had gotten that one down in play, but it's wide of the chalk line, so we'll reset it. And Mason still ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Waiting to retrieve that baseball from down near the bullpen of the Tigers. Benedict to our right. Mason ready, rocks, fires, pitch, change up, and he got him on a curveball. Good pitch there by Mason. And that'll make it 2 out here in the top of the second. Beg your pardon, I had it at 2 prior to that. And that was because of that call on the strikeout. Just take a look at the pitch here on the curveball there. When that one started out in the zone, and you can see it finished up way over in the left-hander's batter's box for the strikeout by Mason. This one popped up, backpedaling out in right field. Slaughter got a bead on it. James with the catch. And Tuskegee, boy, with nobody out and the bases loaded, they are able to retire 3 from the Tigers of Benedict. They blow a good opportunity. Tuskegee coming to the plate. We're still tied, 0-0.
Are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross-country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. Go Tigers!
First baseman Scott Williams getting set to come to the plate for Tuskegee in the bottom of the second inning. His walk-up music probably could not be any more appropriate. He walks up to Scotty by Gucci Mane. First name Scott. Probably picked that music intentionally. So Scott Williams to the plate for Tuskegee to start the bottom of the second. Tuskegee defensively in the top of the second. Benedict with the bases loaded and denied by that Golden Tiger defense. So Williams to the plate now. Scott will be followed by John Saffold out in center field today, and then he'll be followed by the designated hitter, Jabari Johnson, for the Golden Tigers. Tuskegee had Pratt all the way over to third base in their bottom half of the first. Left him there, and this one smeared by Duran at the pitcher's mound on a line drive by Scott Williams. Doesn't get rewarded for the stinging hit there, but just reaching out was Duran to just snap it out of the air to retire Scott. So he's retired, and that'll bring up Saffold. John, the junior from Birmingham, Alabama, .326 batting average. Duran starts him off with a fastball, and John fouls that one off right side. Saffold, one of the younger players, are back next year for Tuskegee as a senior. And that's what Coach Hall is looking forward to, a relatively young squad here at Tuskegee. And that pitch delivered from Duran, but off the plate and low for ball one. So Saffold trying to get aboard. Line drive by Scott Williams on the previous batting attempt, snared at the mound by Duran, robbing Williams of what may have been a hit up the middle. But good defensive work by the pitcher for the Tigers of Benedict. Duran delivers. Saffold swings at that one, fouls it off again to the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're live here from the bottom of the second inning. No score. Tigers of Benedict and the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Tuskegee starting this 3-game series against the Tigers of Benedict. Curveball there, and another one snapped by Duran on the mound. We got to move him left or right, one way or the other. He picked that one right out of the air, going straight up to snag and prevent Saffold from getting on. So back defensive gems by the pitcher for the Tigers of Benedict. That's called helping yourself from the hill. And he's retired the first 2, and that'll bring up Jabari Johnson. And Jabari walking up to 25K, jacket by Gunna. That's his walk-up music. And Duran gonna fire him in with a strike to get things started. 0 balls, 1 strike. Duran with the pitch, curveball. That one's in tight for ball 1. Jabari, a sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia. .350 batting average for the sophomore. 11 RBI and 32 total bases. Swings that one there late on the fastball from Duran. And Johnson behind in the count now, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wind blowing here inside Washington Field from right field to left. Duran rocks and fires, and Johnson took a pitch. That one's just off the plate. You can hear the Benedict bench in the background thinking that was strike 3. Instead, the count 2-2. And the sophomore Jabari settles back in for TU. Duran rocks and fires. That one high at eye level for ball 3. So the count to full now. Back here tomorrow at Washington Field, doubleheader action. Golden Tigers hosting the Tigers of Benedict conference play. Curveball, this one looped out in the center field, backpedaling, and under it now is Jamil Mitchell. He'll watch that one settle into his glove for out number 3, and we head to the top of the 3rd. Still scoreless. Tigers of Benedict, Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. More ahead on GTSN.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Players from Tuskegee University in the dugout to our left. They know that this is a critical ball game for them, as is the series against the Tigers of Benedict College. They have got to win out to really set their own fortunes and the possibility of getting into the SIAC tournament post regular season. Got to be in the top 8 to get to the tournament. Tuskegee right now peeking in from number 10. They need to win all 3 here against the Tigers of Benedict. Benedict right now 5th in the SIAC in terms of standings. Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, Lane, Albany State all in between Tuskegee and Benedict at this point. Referenced it a little bit early on, Tuskegee with this series against Benedict, and then Lane to close out the season in terms of conference play. Morehouse has Spring Hill, Edward Waters, and Savannah State University in their final 3 series conference-wise in the regular season. Clark Atlanta against Kentucky State, Edward Waters, and Savannah State. So each of those schools with some tough series ahead of them, with Savannah at number 2, Edward Waters at number 3 in the rankings. So Tuskegee, if they can take care of business of their own here in terms of the series that they have, and hopefully get some help from Morehouse and Clark Atlanta, they can get into that top 8. We're here in the top of the 3rd, a swing and a miss there as we go back to the top of the order for the Tigers of Benedict is Gardadu. And he swings and misses at that first pitch. This one down in the dirt and low for ball 1. Juan Gardadu is the leading hitter for the Tigers of Benedict with a .431 batting average, slugging percentage over 1,000 for him, an on-base percentage of .670. So this is the guy that Tuskegee does not want to hurt them with the bat. Gardadu, he's a junior from La Puente, California. Behind the plate this afternoon for Benedict. And Mason with the pitch. Curveball swung on and wide of third base, foul. Count full at 3-2. And Mason starting out here in the top of the 3rd. And the pitch. That one's off the plate. Gardadu. And he's down at first base with a walk to start the top of the 3rd. So Gardadu followed in the lineup by Nicholas Joya. Last time up, Joya got a base on balls in that top half of the 1st. Mason with a pitch high and in the zone for ball 1. Gardadu at first base. He got on with a walk. Scoreless in the top of the 3rd. Mason with the pitch, bounced it up there, got it past Ward into the back screen. So on the wild pitch, Gardadu down to second base, and he's in scoring position for the Tigers of Benedict. Conditions at home plate, not wet, but they do water it a little bit before the game, and it had some rain here in Tuskegee last night, so it's a little clumpy up there as Mason misses on that pitch out of the zone, and quickly behind in the count, 3 balls, no strikes to the shortstop Nicholas Joya, and he takes a 4-pitch walk. Top of the 3rd now. Mason in trouble a bit here as assistant coach Jackson comes out now to the mound, and they'll conference there. Back-to-back walks to start the top of the 3rd. Gardito at second base, and Joya now. He got the walk, he's at first. That'll bring up Isaiah Canty, the third baseman, Canty struck out his last time up. But he'll come up here at the plate with a .424 batting average and an opportunity in front of him with nobody out and 2 aboard. Tuskegee able to wiggle out of bases full with nobody out in the last inning. Don't want to keep taking your chances with that. Mason walking the first 2 here in the top of the 3rd. Big dark cloud over the top of Washington Field here. But to the left of and right of that cloud, some sunshine. After the conference, Mason fires to the plate, and that one's over for a strike. Canty was taking all the way. Gardadu down at second. Joya at first for Benedict. Mason to the plate. This one chopped on and fouled wide of first base. So McHale ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. They reset. Oh, 2 delivery from Mason. This one chopped on and fouled back by Canty to stay alive. Canty, a strikeout victim in the top of the 1st. Mason with 3 strikeouts already in this ball game. And the pitch here. This one looped out in the right field, circling back there and making the catch over the shoulder is Ryan Morrow. They throw back to second base and they chase Gardadu back there. So 1 down here in the top of the 3rd. Thought that one might have gotten down to some grass, but Ryan with a good jump from second base, able to run under it for the out. So that'll bring up Murray. Murray drew a base on balls his last time up. Runners at second and first. Mason looking back to second now with the pitch. That's over for a strike. Took something off of the fastball there and got it on the corner. Gardadu down at second. Joya at first for Benedict. 0-1, Mason on the mound and set for the delivery to the plate. Curveball there on the ground and found some space and threw, and then the grass in the left field bobbled there by the left fielder Pratt. And that will allow Gardadu to score for the Tigers of Benedict, and they'll plate the first run of the ball game on a base hit through the left side by Murray. So Murray will get the RBI, and Gardadu, after walking to start the inning, he crosses the plate. Joya over the third base after the error out in left field from Pratt. Canty down at second. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Jaquez Akins. So Murray delivers. And he'll get the second on the throw. And they appeal the tag at third base. And they will say that they did touch it coming to home. So the run stands. It's a 1-0 lead for Benedict. 1 down, runners at third and second. Pitch high and out of the zone for Carson Fellows, or I beg your pardon, Jaquez Atkins, the left fielder. Atkins last time up, he singled for Benedict. Pitch by Mason, swung on and missed, and a good change of pace there. That pitch actually off the plate. Atkins not able to hold off on that, so the count at 1-1. Joya at third. Down at second is Murray. Mason with the pitch. This one off the plate for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 down, top of the third. 1 across already for Benedict. Mason to the plate with the pitch. Curveball over, but didn't cross over into the zone until after it crossed the plate, so the count to 3-1. Start that curve just a little bit earlier to get the drop inside the zone for the strike. 3-1 delivery. Mason rocks and fires. That same result there, and Atkins is aboard with a walk. So 3 walked here in the top of the 3rd, and the base is loaded once again for the Tigers of Benedict. This time Joya at 3rd, Murray at 2nd, and now Atkins at 1st after he walks, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Carson Fellows. Fellows on this season with a .220 batting average. Bases loaded here. Here's the pitch. Off the plate, good sliding stop there by Samarian Ward behind the plate for Tuskegee. Runners on each bag. You don't want to get by you here to score a run. Mason with the pitch, swung on and missed by Fellows. Good pitch there from McHale. McHale trying to help himself out of this situation here. He's given up 1 already. Can't afford to let any more cross. 1-1 pitch. This one off the plate. And sliding out there to make the stop there is Ward outside of the left-handed batter's box. Count to 2-1. Sacks are full for the Tigers of Benedict. Pitch here, curveball, swung on and missed. Good pitch there from Mason. They went back to it on Fellows that got him to swing at the first change curveball and missed it, and he misses on the second here. Count at 2-2, 1 down. Mason with the pitch, another curve. Hanging on there as Fellows, fouling that one back to the screen. Joy at first, Murray at second, Atkins at first. Mason on the mound for TU, 2-2 delivery. And the pitch, curveball out in the center field, tracking that one. That may get over the head of the center fielder Saffold, and it will. It'll roll all the way to the fence line out in center field. That'll clear the bases prior to Fellows stopping down at second on a triple. So he clears the bags with a triple out to center field. He'll stand at third after he drives in 3 for the Tigers of Benedict, and they go ahead now 4-0. Fastball from Mason up in the zone as Fellows is able to stretch those arms and got the triple out to center field. That's his first triple of the season for the Tigers of Benedict. Comes at the top of the 3rd, and they take a 4-0 lead. He'll stand at, I beg your pardon, on that double, he's down at second. Not the triple for him, but he'll wind up at second base on the double. And that is his 3rd double of the season for the Tigers of Benedict. So get the 3 RBI, and he'll stand at second base. Mason takes a look, comes to the plate with the pitch. Fastball just off the plate. The junior, Omido. Omido, he struck out his last time up. 1-1 count here from Mason. McHale to the plate, change up on a curve, and swinging is Omido, not able to hold on there. And McHale ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 down, still here in the top of the 3rd. Omidu, a junior from Santa Monica, swings at a pitch, and they go to third base and got on a run down there on Fellows. Fellows leaving, headed to third. That ball hit on the left side of the infield, so not the best base running there by Fellows. Ideally, you want that ball hit behind you on the right side if you're at second base to try to take the bag at third. Easy pickoff there from Lee at shortstop. You see Fellows, likely because he was so far off of the bag that he thought that he would not be able to get back if Lee was going to try to tag him at second base. At any rate, it's out number 2 for the Golden Tigers here. And to the plate for the Tigers of Benedict, Elijah Banks. Banks struck out his last time up. Takes the first pitch over for a strike from Mason. Another curveball, same result, swing and a miss, and going on that play is Omidu from first base, so he'll take second base. Got on that fielder's choice and still second base. And Banks down in the count 0-2. Mason trying to limit the damage here. 0-2 pitch, swung on, chopped on, and missed by Banks. So Tuskegee retires Banks and Benedict, but the Tigers of Benedict push across 4 here in the top of the 3rd. So Tuskegee coming to the plate. They'll send up Ward, Slaughter, then back to the top of the order to see if they can't cut into that deficit.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Brown, class of 1986, president of Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Just looking at a text there from Chief Operating Officer Rolandis Rice, giving a shout out to Dr. Brown. Part of the Founders Day activities, so many things going on that week, and just a reflection of how these two work together so well. Dr. Brown, just anything that goes on the campus, his call phrase is call Rice. He can handle it. That's the kind of confidence you want to have in your chief operating officer if you're the president of the university. So Tuskegee blessed to have both of those men in leadership here at TU. Start at the bottom of the 3rd. Tuskegee will send up the catcher, Samarian Ward. Ward trying to get some things going here. Tuskegee trailing 4-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Swings at a pitch there. Behind second base, backpedaling and over-the-shoulder catch there by Omidu from second base. Made it all the way out there to center field. Coming in was Mitchell from his position in center. But Omidu able to corral that baseball over the shoulder for out number 1. So Ward is retired here in the bottom of the 3rd. Thought that it might have found some grass, but Omidu really hustling out there to make that catch. That'll bring up James Slaughter. Slaughter for the first time in the ball game to the plate. Squares the bunt, took a pitch on the inside for ball 1. James, senior from Huntsville, Alabama. His walk-up music is Sexy Girl Anthem. And he takes a pitch there off the plate. Roscoe Dash. Interesting, just the selection of these players in terms of their walk-up music. This one chopped on and filled it there by Omidu, this time back toward first base on the ground. Was leaning a little bit towards second base, but found its balance, got back in front of that baseball, covered it with his glove, and got it over to first base to retire Slaughter. So on the 4-3 put out, we go back to the top of the order. Nicholas Pratt steps in. Bright start for Tuskegee as Pratt singled out the right field, got all the way over to third, and was parked there at the end of the inning. Tuskegee not able to push him across. 2 down, pitch. This one, the first one swung on and popped up behind the plate, circling and behind, and just behind our broadcast tent here. If I wasn't on air, I'd have gotten out of my headset and caught that top baseball. So Pratt on the foul ball. No balls, 1 strike. Durand, the junior, rocks and fires. Curveball, and Pratt able to hold off on that one. Count to 1-1. Tuskegee trailing 4-0. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Durand with the pitch. Fastball on the corner for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Durand with some giddy up there on that fastball after showing the change on the pitch prior. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curveball bounced up there, count to 2-2. Nicholas down in the count 2 strikes last time he got that single out to right field. All right, now the count at 2-2 with 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd. And Duran with the delivery. Off the plate, the count full at 3-2. First of 3 against the Tigers of Benedict. 3-2 pitched here. Nicholas stays alive, a following one off right side. Tuskegee with this big series against Benedict. 1 today, 2 tomorrow. Payoff pitch here. Curveball. And Pratt can't believe the call. He was getting ready, already tossed the bat, getting ready to don his on gear and toss that toward first base. Can't believe that that was called a strike by Scott Wynn from behind the plate. So Nicholas will take his position out in left field, a chance to think about that call as we head into the 4th, 4-0 lead for Benedict.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
If you want to really see what an assumption looks like, take a look at Nicholas Pratt after that pitch was called a strike in the bottom of the 3rd. I don't know if we have that or not, but he was there at the plate. He was already headed toward first base. Take a look at the pitch. That one, well, looked chest high, but Pratt slinging the bat. And that's what assumption looks like there. Thought he was headed to first, and instead he takes that lonely walk back to the dugout. Called a strike. Taking a look at it on a replay, it did cross the plate about chest high. And Pratt was tired on that strikeout. And we go to the top of the 4th. Benedict with a 4-0 lead. And they will send up to the plate Jamil Mitchell. Mitchell flew out to right field his last time up. Mason still on the mound for Tuskegee. Gave up 4 in the last frame. This pitch off the plate for ball 1. So Mason trying to go back to work here. Back in the count now. No balls, 1 ball, no strikes. Delivers to the plate. This one swung on down in right field, but it's down toward the tarp and out of play. Out in front of that pitch was Mitchell. And the senior from Groveport, Ohio, first team all-conference for the Tigers of Benedict, not fooled on that pitch at all. This pitch tight on the inside, and that'll go too tight for ball 2. Mason, pitch count working its way to 10. He'll rock and fire at 8. This one swung on and missed. So Mitchell retired on the strikeout here to start the 4th. Good start there by Mikael Mason on the mound for Tuskegee. Beg your pardon on that one. Strike 2 there on Mitchell. Counted 2-2. This one chopped on foul wide of first. So Mitchell stays alive. I guess I'm assuming things as well. Thought that was count for strike 3. Instead, it's at 2-2. Scott Wynn trying to get some baseballs settled here as they're floating around after the foul ball. 2-2 delivery by Mason. This one off the plate. Marion Ward holding that one just for a double check from Scott Wynn from behind the plate. And Wynn says no, no, and the count full at 3-2. Mason shakes off one pitch, now ready for the payoff. This one on the ground and wide of first again. Good battle here between Mason and Mitchell. Count at 3-2 now. Mason set for another payoff pitch here. Rocks and fires to the, and this one line drive right to Devin Lee at shortstop. So Tuskegee getting a break on the line drive there. That one hit, and Devin hardly had to move, and they retire Mitchell on the line out to the shortstop. So we go back to the top now. Gardado stepping in now for the Tigers of Benedict. He scored in the bottom of the third, leading things off at the top of the third, leading it off with a walk. Team's leading hitter with a .431 batting average. Pitch there, curveball, nicely done there by Mason. Got it across for strike one. Always want to start out in front of these hitters, especially the ones high in the order. The lead off here. 0-1. This one popped up down the first base line. Scott Williams may have room there. Reaches over the rail, saving the GTSN broadcast van. Would have taken a real ding on the side, but Scott able to grab that one just over the fence line for out number 2. Take a look at the replay there. As you see Mason following it toward the line, Scott judging where he was there. There's our van in the background. And boy, you saved a repair trip to the repair shop there with that catch. Somebody may owe Scott something there. This one on the ground, diving for it, and Alex Glass can't come away with it. As Joya got one out in left field. He's aboard at first base. So Joya got on an error in the third, and he's aboard here with a base hit out the left. Got a little rain here. I was wondering what the tattering was in the background, and finally know what it is. Overcast skies, some blue showing, but just a little rain falling here inside or here at Washington Field. So 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Joya is aboard for Benedict. Mason trying to leave him there at first, throw over, and they chase him back. Just a little quick burst of drops there. Looks like it stopped already as Mason goes back to work on the hill. From the stretch and delivers to home plate. That one's bounced up there. Good block by Ward, but that will not prevent Joya from going down to second base. So he'll be down at second. After the wild pitch there from Mason. So McHale now just trying to settle in on the batter, which is Isaiah Canty at the plate. Joya down at second. Here's the pitch to Canty. Curveball chipped on and fouled off for a strike. That's a good pitch there by Mason. Canty steps back in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Joya down at second. Tuskegee trying to post a 0 in this top half of the 4th for the Tigers. Here's a pitch there, curveball. That one's up and out of the zone. So 2 down, top of the 4th. Mason with the pitch, fouled back to the screen by Canty. Count full at 3-2. Mason trying to stop this surge by the Tigers right here with Joya down at second, trying to hold him there. Payoff pitch from Mason to the plate. Curveball swung on and missed by Canty. Good pitch selection there by Ward and Mason. So they retire Canty and the Tigers here in the top of the fourth. They leave Joya stranded at second. We head to the bottom of the frame. Tuskegee trailing 4-0.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
We're back live here at Washington Field. Tuskegee getting set to send to the plate now. Devin Lee, Nicholas Pratt left standing at the plate on that call, strike 3. In the bottom of the third, Tuskegee trying to get something going with the bats here. Devin lined out to left field his last time up. It'll be Devin Lee, followed by Ryan Morrow and Alex Glass. The 3 headed to the plate for Tuskegee. Braylon Duran, the junior from New York, still on the hill for Benedict. First pitch, bunted down the third base line. Good bunt there by Devin. One-handed throw off line, and Devin's aboard for Tuskegee. Devin caught him leaning there as Canty back deep at third base, and Devin got the bunt down, so he's aboard for the Golden Tigers to start the bottom of the fourth. So that'll bring up Ryan Morrow. Ryan grounded out to the second baseman, Omido, his first time up. Lee at first. He squares. Took a strike on the corner, showing an early bunt attempt there. So Lee got on board with a bunt. Morrow trying to push him down the second base. 0-1 delivery. Duran from the stretch and pitches. This one, a strike, throw down the second base, and they got Lee down at second. Good throw from behind the plate from Gardido. And he was on target with the throw. Covering down there was the second baseman, Omido, and he put the tag on Lee. So Lee is retired, caught stealing. Devin, to some degree, trying to challenge that call, but you take a look at it here. Devin got a decent jump, looking back toward the catcher in the throw. Arguing that he may have been there with that second leg on the bottom leg. He'll stand there, and they challenged that one. Greg Elder, the field umpire, talking to head coach Chadwick Hall. Take another look at it there on the slide by Devin. You see the tag coming in, but the tag, I believe, is made on the left leg as Devin slides in. But see if that bottom leg is on the bag before the tag. There you see the tag. That's high on the hip. And not sure if that left lead leg from Devin wasn't in there before the tag. But that's all academic now, as Elder stands by the call in the field, and Devin's retired, being caught stealing. So Morrow swings at a pitch and fouls it back. One down here in the bottom of the fourth. Tuskegee very aggressive on the base pads. We've seen that throughout the season. But this time, Devin gets picked off at second base. And Morrow takes a pitch off the plate. Tuskegee trailing 4-0. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Morrow, the second baseman. Ryan did not play in Wednesday's ball game against Point University. Takes a pitch there. That's over on the corner. And that's called a strike. So Scott Wynn calls a strike there on Morrow, and he's retired on strikes. with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Third strikeout of the ball game for Duran for the Tigers of Benedict, and that'll bring up Alex Glass. Duran with a curveball. Glass loops it out in the center field, coming on as Mitchell. It'll fall right in front of him for a base hit. So Alex is aboard with 2 down for Tuskegee in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up the first baseman, Scott Williams. Take a look at the work by Alex, jumping on that first pitch, sending it into the gap between right and center field, or beg your pardon, left and center field, and he's aboard for Tuskegee. Scott grounded out to the shortstop his last time up and takes the first pitch in for a strike from Duran. Two down, bottom of the 4th, TU trailing 4-0. Throw over, so diving back in there is Alex. Williams, 303 batting average. Down in the count, no balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed by Scott. So the count now, no balls, 2 strikes with 2 down. Duran still with some velocity on that fastball, just blew that one by Scott Williams. 0-2, see if they go change of pace here. No, they go with the gas instead, but it's off the plate and high for ball 1. Alex Glass down at first base for Tuskegee. He singled out to center field with 2 down. 1-2 delivery from Duran. That one off the plate for ball 2. So the native from New York, Duran, from the stretch. 2-2 delivery. Curveball, and Scott able to hold off on that pitch. Throw down to first base. Alex steps back on the bag, and the count goes to full. So 3-2. Payoff pitch coming here to Scott Williams, 2 down. Glass at first. Tuskegee trying to push him over. They trail 4-0. Duran with the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Scott, so he strikes out to retire Tuskegee here in the bottom of the 4th. They get a runner on, but leave him there at first base. We head to the 5th, 5-0 lead for the Tigers of Benedict.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Golden Tiger fans, this is Jordan Benson, your Sports Information Director, and thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU!
Jordan Benson with a heavy weekend of work ahead of him. Tomorrow, we got the spring football game for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Scrimmage action tomorrow from Cleve Abbott Stadium, just down to our right. It's junior day here for the admissions office at Tuskegee. So they'll celebrate the juniors with a lot of activities on the campus, including being right down here. With also have a tennis match going on tomorrow against Alabama A&M. All that'll be going on while baseball's going on here at Washington Field. So students will have the opportunity to just share with 3 elements of the athletics program at Tuskegee. Come over and watch a little bit of baseball, get a little bit of spring football action, and watch tennis players, men and women, for Tuskegee as they battle Alabama A&M. Right now, 4-0 lead for the Tigers of Benedict. We head to the top of the 5th. It'll be the first baseman, Justin Murray, stepping in for the Tigers. He singled back in the third. Eventually came around to score. So if you're out and about in the Tuskegee area, you want to catch up with some athletic activity going on tomorrow. A lot of carnival type activities as well in terms of games and things that you can participate in with yourself and your family. Come on out and check out some athletics as a process and part of it. And if you're over here watching baseball, stop in and say hello. We're just outside of home plate with our GTSN tent. Be glad to see you here on the campus of Tuskegee. Murray at the plate. Mason still on the hill for Tuskegee. 2-1 count. Here's a delivery. This one swatted out in center field. That's hit on a rope there, and that one's going to go all the way to the fence line between center and right field. Surrounding the bag and headed to third. Murray with the head down. He'll slide in with a triple for the Tigers of Benedict. So Murray takes a trip to third after he got one in the gap between center and right. Drove it all the way underneath the scoreboard here at Washington Field. So he stands at third with nobody out at the top of the fifth inning. So that'll bring up the left fielder, Jaquez Atkins. Atkins scored in that third as well. Takes a pitch that's bounced up there, and Murray will come in to score on that one as Ward couldn't find it as it bounced off of his left shoulder. And Murray across to score after the wild pitch. So the hole gets a little bit deeper for Tuskegee now, 5-0. Atkins still at the plate for Benedict as Murray tripled and gets home on the wild pitch. 5-0 lead. This one out to center field. This time Sappho looks like he's got a bead on it. Slides toward right field with the one-handed grab for out number 1 in the top of the fifth. So Atkins retired. And that'll bring up Carson Fellows, the designated hitter. Fellows doubled his last time up to drive in 3. The bases was loaded when he did that. And he takes his first pitch for a ball high. He was left stranded at third, but it was a big inning for the Tigers. Change up, good pitch there by Mason. Ball off the plate. One down here, top of the fifth. 1-1 delivery from Mason. Over but low, the count to 2-1. Benedict right now 5th in the SIAC. This one on a good changeup again as Fellows is way out in front of that pitch. Count pulled even to 2-2. Talking about some of the national rankings for the Tigers of Benedict. 15th in batting average. They're 5th in home runs per game. Just over 1.7 average for home runs per outing for the Tigers of Benedict. Mason with a pitch. This one out in line drive down in the grass in the center field for a base hit. Fellows, the designated hitter, and showing why for the Tigers of Benedict. Solid swing out to center field, and he's aboard. So back to the plate now comes Omido. Omido, the junior from Santa Monica, with a runner aboard. 5-0 lead for the Tigers. Mason with the pitch. Off the plate just a smidgen. So it's no 1 ball, no strikes. 1 down, top of the fifth. 5-0 lead for the Tigers of Benedict. Mason in the stretch. Curveball, that's over. Good pitch there from Miguel. Tuskegee with a couple of pitchers warming in the bullpen down to our left. As we're in the 5th inning now, Tuskegee doesn't want to fall any further behind, hoping that Miguel can get them through this 5th inning with no more damage, as Benedict's already pushed 1 across as Murray tripled and was able to come home on a wild pitch. 1-1 the count meanwhile to Omido. And here's the pitch from Mason. That's in for a strike. Teams back at it tomorrow here at Washington. Doubleheader action tomorrow. It's Tuskegee in a series that they at least want to make sure that they win the series overall, as a looping line drive is down for a base hit in left field by Omidu. And he's at first, and that'll push Fellows, who singled to center field, down to second base. So back-to-back singles. And the line continuing to move now for the Tigers of Benedict. As Elijah Banks set to come up, he'll be replaced in the lineup by Jacob Hall, the junior from Powder Springs, Georgia. Hall replaces Banks, who struck out twice in the early innings of this ball game. And Hall is greeted with a strike from Mason for Tuskegee. 1 down, 2 aboard, top of the 5th. 5-0 lead for Benedict. Mason with the pitch, curveball, swinging at it, and coming up empty is Hall. Hall, 2 of 17 batting for the Tigers of Benedict. Mason would love to make quick work of him. He's ahead in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Fellows at second, Omido at first. This pitch off the plate. Good stab there by Samarian Ward behind the plate to prevent that one from going to the backstop. Counted 1-2. One-two delivery, curveball swung on. Lee fills at second, flips it at short. They got the out there and all safe and on the bag there. They try to throw it back to get Omidu at second base, but the throw by Lee, he had to slide to his right and able to slide over there to it, but had to throw it a little bit off balance. And Coach Hall going to challenge that call as well. But looked like Devin may have had a little bit of problem getting that one out of the webbing after he fielded it sliding toward third base. So the call, if it stands, Omidu will be down at second base. As you take a look at the replay, watch Devin there at shortstop to the top of your screen. He ranges to his right, got it there, but had just a fraction of a second problem getting it out of the webbing and didn't get that full throw on it like he wanted to. So everybody's safe for the Tigers of Benedict, and that means that the bases are loaded for Jamil Mitchell. So Hall got aboard. Have to register that one as an error there against Lee, and that'll have him loaded. And at the plate is Mitchell. Mitchell with a 1-1 count now. Fellows at third. Omido at second. That one foul tip at the plate. And Hall at first base with 1 down here in the top of the 5th. Already 1 across here for the Tigers of Benedict. Our action starting tomorrow at 1 o'clock here from Washington Field with doubleheader play. That pitch is off the plate for a ball. It's even at 2-2. Sandwiched in with the spring game for Tuskegee football at Cleve Abbott Memorial Stadium down to our right, and tennis just out in front of Logan Hall. All of that in the athletic complex at Tuskegee University. Swung on, chopped on, and foul at the plate. May have got a part of the foot there of Mitchell, first team all-conference player from Ohio. Stepping on to the box to walk that off for just a second. Now ready to step back in. And he'll face a 2-2. Two pitch, swung on, foul tipped at the plate. Ward not able to hang on to that one. So Mitchell stays alive. Omido down at second base. Fellows at third. for the Tigers of Benedict, and down at first base is Hall. So the sacks are loaded, 1 down, top of the 5th. It's a 5-0 lead for Benedict. Mikael Mason rocks and fires with the pitch. This one swung on. Looks like it's out of play down the left field line, and it will be beyond the Tuskegee bullpen. Count stays at 2-2. Mason would love this to win this long battle against Mitchell. 2-2 delivery here. That one chopped on and out towards center field. It may find some grass. No, instead it's Saffold covering ground. Here's a throw to the plate, and sliding across the plate, it will be Fellows in for the score for the Tigers of Benedict. Good throw from center field by John, but just out in front of the plate, and Fellows crosses for Benedict to make it 6-0. Meanwhile, everybody else moves up a bag. Omido down at third base, and Hall slides into second base after Mitchell flew out. And that'll make it 2 down here in the top of the 5th, and back to the top of the order for the Tigers of Benedict. And this one's popped up out in left field. Circling that way is Pratt. Pratt looking at it, or it'll be caught there in center field by Saffold. As John had the range on it. Nick was headed that way, thought he was underneath it, but instead closer to Saffold in center field. And John with the squeeze as the Tigers of Benedict squeeze across 2 more here in the top of the 5th. They lead at 6-0. Tuskegee with some ground to cover here in the bottom of the 5th.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Hi, Tuskegee fans. I'm Coach Chad Hall, your head baseball coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU.
Thank you, Coach Hall. And yeah, Tuskegee, you got to go right now. They're trailing 6-0 here as we head to the bottom of the 5th. To the Tigers of Benedict. TU will be sending up Saffold, who just made that fine play on the catch out in center field. Jabari Johnson, then Samarian Ward will be the 3rd batter in the lineup. Tuskegee trying to get something going here. Trying to erase all those zeros that are posted on the scoreboard out in center field. John with a hard line out, but he lined it out to the pitcher Duran. Swings at the first pitch here and fouls it back to the screen. Duran ready now with the pitch. This one low and off the plate. Count to 1-1. Duran with that 6-0 lead. Probably one of the most comfortable positions for a pitcher to be in, to have a lead as you're on the mound. It's not a substantial lead, but wide enough to pitch comfortably and just know that you can just throw strikes from this point on and rely on your defense. Don't have to work as hard. 1 ball, 2 strikes after the foul out by Saffold. Curveball here. John whacks one out in the center field. Arranging that way is Mitchell on the move to his right. He'll get up under it, throws up the glove, and makes the catch there for out number 1. So John gave it a good ride, but Mitchell runs it down. So Saffold retired here to start the bottom of the 5th. Jabari Johnson to the plate. Jabari, he flew out to center field his last time up. Duran with a pitch, shoots one out to right field. Backpedaling, this one's going to get over the head of Banks out in the right field. A Hall out there now, all the way to the fence line. Jabari thinking three, didn't even look back. He'll take third base, dives in there for a stand-up triple for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Johnson got it behind Hall out in right field, and he was able to run all the way over to third base after a good piece of hitting there and some good base running by the designated hitter. Going with that pitch right where it was, and after he turns the corner at first base, looking at that ball all the way, he knew he had third base after he saw Hall got over his head. So at the plate now is the catcher, Samarian Ward, with a runner at third base, and Johnson looking to be picked up here after he tripled. Tuskegee trying to get their first run of the ball game. Duran rocks and fires. Ward takes a curveball. That one's tight for ball one. So count at 1-1, one down, bottom of the fifth. Ward looks at a ball there. Count to 2-1. Jabari Johnson at third. That's his third triple of the season for Tuskegee. Ward fouls one off right side. The count pulled even at 2-2. Deep fly ball will be good enough to get Ward across, Johnson across the plate. 2-2 delivery to Ward, curveball, and he took a pitch there off the plate. Took the count full at 3-2. Duran cruising up to this point. Payoff pitch here. This one chopped on by Ward, popped up on the infield. Duran says he's got it and stumbles back a little bit, but does make the catch just left of the mound. So Ward not able to push Johnson home, and we're down to 2 outs here, and to the plate comes James Slaughter. Slaughter with a ground out to the second baseman his last time up. Tuskegee don't want to leave Johnson down at third here in a frame, which has started with him tripling. Duran with the pitch, chopped on and fouled toward the Tuskegee dugout. So Slaughter down in the count, no balls, 1 strike. Triple to right field by Jabari Johnson. He stands at third. 0-1 delivery from Duran, and that's over for a strike to Slaughter. James trying to cover that plate. Here's the pitch, chopped on toward the first baseman. They'll try to flip it there. They got it over to Johnson, and he's safe at first base. Down the line, Slaughter able to beat that as the pitcher Duran shaking his saying no, he beat it at first base. We'll take a look at it here on GTSN, see what happened at first. Watch him covering after the pitch. He'll head toward first base and watch the flip from Murray there on the flip. And they got there just about at the same time. And Greg Elder, recognizing that, says that Slaughter is safe at first base, so that'll score the first run of the ball game for TU. And they throw it away, trying to get it to Slaughter. That may be out of frustration by Duran, and Slaughter slides into second base for Tuskegee after Duran on an error on the throw to first. So Slaughter got him a little bit rattled after he got down to first base as he beat out that flip from Murray to Duran. And on the wild pitch, take a look at him there. Duran just threw that one with a lot of force over at first base and threw it high, and that enabled Slaughter to go down to second base on the wild pitch. So Tuskegee, they get Jabari Johnson across home plate for their first score of the ball game, and James Slaughter down at second base, and Nicholas Pratt in the box now for Tuskegee. Step off, and now Slaughter trying to take third. He slides in, and he beat the throw at third. Duran still beside himself that he was able to take that base on him as he stepped off trying to throw it down to second. Omido was not down at second to cover. And after that, Slaughter took off to third, and James able to get in under a throw at third. And Pratt, meanwhile, swings at a pitch there and comes up empty. So Slaughter with some good base running there, stands at third base now. And this one chopped back to the mound to Duran. He'll look over there and lobs it over to first base to retire Pratt. But Tuskegee, after the work of the triple by Jabari Johnson and Slaughter, able to pick him up by beating out a throw to first base. They crossed the plate for the first time. They trail at 6-1 to the Tigers of Benedict. Speaking of the sixth, we head to the top of the sixth.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
I'm Rolandus Rice, Chief Operating Officer and the Vice President for Student Affairs at Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Make sure you join us here tomorrow for baseball action from Washington Field. Doubleheader play between the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee and the Tigers of Benedict. An important SIAC series for Tuskegee, trailing right now 6-1 in the first ball game. With the doubleheader tomorrow at 1, we'll have action down at Cleve Abbott with the spring football game. So you can check some of that out and slide your way back over here to Washington Field to check out some baseball. And if tennis is your thing, which it is mine, got tennis tomorrow with the Golden Tigers hosting Alabama A&M Bulldogs men and women's tennis just up past Logan Hall. Food and a lot of other fun activities that you can partake in. It'll be junior day here at Tuskegee. Spinning on the inside, enjoy a hit with that pitch in the back, and he'll get the pass to first base. And Mikhail Mason coming in to talk to Scott Wynn and really challenging where Joya was standing there when he took that pitch to the back. But it will be Joya down at first base, hit by the pitch to start the top of the sixth. So he's aboard, and that'll bring up Isaiah Canty. Canty struck out in the top of the fourth, and he struck out in the first. Throw over the first base, and Joya's back over there for the Tigers of Benedict. And the pitch to the plate. Good pitch there by Mason to find the zone. Canty just watching that curveball sail in for the strike. Mason coming up after he hit Joya in the back, talking straight to Scott Wynn, the umpire. Like he may have seen that Joya might have been just right over the plate in terms of his feet. And that pitch hit him as a result. Didn't win the argument. Joya's down at first base. But Mason ahead in the count now to Canty, 0-1. Pitch to the plate. That one's just out of the zone up high. Count to 1-1. Cloud starting to break up just a little bit here. Still a big cloud that's a little bit too working its way past down in near the left field area here at Washington Field now. A lot of sunshine following that. There's a pitch there by Mason. That's over for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Canty steps back in. Justin Murray, the first baseman, on deck for the Tigers of Benedict. Throw back over the first. Joya diving back in for the Tigers of Benedict. Just keep encouraging that tomorrow, if you're around here in Tuskegee, looking for something for you and your family to do, the campus is the best place to be here tomorrow. Pitch there, swung on and missed. Canty way late on that fastball with some gas there from Laquel Mason for Tuskegee. And Canty, a strikeout victim for the third time in this ball game. Mason, Jared, you watch him on that pitch with the giddy up there. And right at the corner of the plate. Might have been a little bit off, but it pitched just so hard. Canty not able to hold off of it. He strikes out for the third time. Pitch bounced up there and passed Warden to the backstop, so Joya will take second base. As Jaquez Atkins, Justin Murray, the first baseman, he'll be followed by Atkins in the lineup. Murray ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Still a couple of pitchers warming up in the bullpen for Tuskegee. Down to our left. Mason to the plate with the pitch. Good curveball there. Murray frozen, took it for a strike at the knees. Coach Hall will make that decision about when or if he changes pitchers here with Mason on the mound. Trailing 6-1 here. They get a little bit closer. Pitch there, that's a strike delivered there by Mason on a fastball. Doesn't want to burn any pitchers if he doesn't have to, because he got 2 ball games with this same squad tomorrow here at Washington Field. If you can get maybe a run or 2 closer, then you got to consider maybe switching pitchers to keep them off the base pads. Curveball there, one popped up out in right field. Slaughter there in his tracks on the catch, tagging at second. Throw toward third. It's a little bit off line and up the line. And Joya will stay put at third base. Took the glove off of Glass as he was coming in toward third base. The throw was up the line, close to the bag, and Alex got a hand on the baseball into his glove side, and it was knocked off. The glove was by Joya, so he's at third. 2 down after the catch by Slaughter out in right field. And the left fielder, Jaquez Atkins, at the plate now for the Tigers of Benedict. Tuskegee would just love to hold the train right here. This pitch is swung on and popped up out in center field. Saffold says he's got a bead on it. Looks up into the cloudy Tuskegee sky. Gloves it with the left hand for out number 3. So Tuskegee posts to 0 for the Tigers here in the top of the 6th. We head to the bottom half. Tuskegee trailing 6-1.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Hey, Tuskegee fans, I'm Reginald Ruffin, Director of Athletics, and you are listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go to you.
Back live here at Washington Field. Wind still blowing, not heavy, but right to left on the diamond. Tuskegee trying to get some winds blowing with their bats, trailing 6-1. They'll send up Devin Lee. Lee got on his last time up with a single, but got caught stealing to get retired at second base. It'll be Devin, followed by Ryan Morrow, and then Alex Glass, the third baseman. Tuskegee trailing by 5 in a series that Tuskegee desperately needs to win to stay in contention for the SIAC tournament. Benedict here in this series, and then we conclude with the home stand for Tuskegee next weekend as Lee swings at the first pitch, drives that one down the left field line, and it's out of play for strike one. Dragons of Lane College next weekend here at Washington Field. So Devin down in the count, no balls, one strike. Duran ready now on the mound for Benedict. That's change of pitch pace there on a curveball, but off the plate there from Duran. Duran, it's a 10th appearance, started 8 ball games. He's completed 3 for Benedict. This one chopped on and foul, out of play down the line again. Down that left field line. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, Devin. He'll step back in, trying to straighten one out here. Duran rocks and fires. Curveball off the plate, count to 2-2. Two delivery. Turning back away from that fastball, tight on the inside as Devin. So the count now full at 3-2. Tuskegee bottom half of the 6th. Trailing 6-1. Lee, Morrow, and Glass, the first 3 in the lineup. 3-2 pitch here, swung on, foul off again by Devin. So Devin trying to stay alive until he can get something to spread their arms on. But he'll be guarding that plate here on the full count. Duran with the pitch, this one hit out to center field. Tracking it is Mitchell. Over the shoulder catch, running at full trot there in center field, just barely able to grab it to make the catch there. It's 405 deep center. Devin hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark. That gave Mitchell a chance to get up under it, and he was stretching full tilt to get it to make the catch. So Devin retired. That'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Morrow. Morrow coming to the plate, takes the first pitch over for a strike from Duran. Ryan struck out his last time on a pitch that he had questions about. This time he sends one down the left field line and just wide of the chalk and foul. He could have certainly gotten a double out of that one if that one had stayed fair, but just a couple of feet on the other side of the chalk line. And Duran ahead in the count now. 1 down, bottom of the 6th. Duran rocks and fires, 0-2. And that one off the plate for ball 1. One down, here's the pitch. Same location, off the plate for ball 2. So Ryan on the 2-2 steps back in. This one swatted foul, and we reset it. Ryan, a sophomore. Talk about this Tuskegee squad. Not a lot of seniors on there, which is good news for Tuskegee. 2-2 delivery from Duran. That one low, and the count full now at 3-2. Alex Glass waits on deck. He'll be followed by Scott Williams. If Tuskegee can get that far into the lineup. Full count. This one bounced foul just in front of the Tuskegee dugout, and it stays full at 3-2. Duran readies with the pitch. This one fouled back again by Morrow. So Ryan hanging tough. working to pitcher Duran. One down, Morrow trying to get aboard here. Payout pitch from Duran. Swung on and missed by Ryan. So Ryan worked him deep into the count, but at the end of the day, Duran wins the battle with the strikeout. So the second strikeout of Ryan in the ball game, and that'll bring up Alex Glass. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Alex singled his last time up. Duran ready to pitch here. Curveball, that's over for a strike. He's just wheeling and dealing on the mound with that 6-1 lead. Readies and fires here. That one off the plate with the fastball, count to 1-1. Glass, the senior from Birmingham, .342 batting average. Leads Tuskegee, or tied for Tuskegee in doubles with 6 on the season. Late on that fastball from Duran, so Alex falls behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now that big cloud finally moving off the field here at Washington Field. And that's called strike 3. I think Alex may have known that one after he sat down and looked at that pitch and realized it was a cross for a strike. So Alex is retired, and so is Tuskegee in the bottom of the 6th. We head to the 7th at Benedict leading that 6-1 as we go into the 7th inning.
Are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross-country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. Go Tigers!
Thank you, Coach Easterling. Congratulations once again for the SIAC Coach of the Year honors for indoor track and field. We're live here at Washington Field. Tuskegee trailing at 6-1 to the Tigers of Benedict. Selwyn Young, the head coach of the Tigers of Benedict in his 16th season leading the program at Benedict. And one of the most successful coaches in SIAC baseball history. Impressive winning percentage. And does all this coaching for Benedict. Doesn't have really listed as an associate coach. I do have one coach down at the first base line there, and the first pitch popped up out in the right field. That was Fellows batting for Benedict. He popped it up out in the right field. James Slaughter on the other end of that baseball to catch it for out number 1. So Fellows retired quickly here to start the 7th. And that'll bring up Omidu. Omidu to the second baseman. Got over to third base after he singled in the bottom of the 5th. They left him there on the base pads. Mason with the pitch, swung on, line drive wide of third base on a foul ball. Well struck by Omidu. And he'll step back in the box. Jonathan Omida, a junior from Santa Monica, California, .298 batting average. Mason with the pitch, curveball, swung on and missed. Good pitch there by Mason. Amido struck out in the second. Got on a fielder's choice. Takes a pitch there to take the count at 2-2. And singled his last time in the 5th. 2-2 delivery. Mason pitch just off the plate. Count taking the full now, 3-2. Omido steps back in, 3-2, popped up, out toward right field, but catching that before that'll be Morrow at second base for the out for Tuskegee. Just on the cut of the grass, out in right field, and Ryan able to circle under that for out number 2. So Omido is retired. And that will bring up Jacob Hall. Hall inserted in the lineup for Elijah Banks. Hall last time up, got on a single. Stretches and takes a pitch there from Mason at the corner. Good job there by McHale on that first pitch. Found the corner. 2 down, top of the 7th. Mason rocks and fires. This one in the back of Hall, and he'll take first base, hit by the pitch. Definitely not what Mason wanted to do there. He was ahead in the count. And Hall down to first base. So second hit batsman in the ball game by Mason. This time it's Hall headed down the first base with 2 down in the top of the 7th. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Jamil Mitchell. Mitchell scored in the 4th. Throw back over the first. And back in is Hall. That pitch off the plate to Mitchell. Count at 0 and 1 ball, no strikes. 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Throw back the first, a little bit closer this time, but Hall able to slide in. One ball, no strikes. Here's a pitch, curveball, and taking second base as trying to exchange it through the throwing hand with Ward, but he was not able to make the transition. So sliding into second is Hall with the stolen base. Hall had a good jump, but a good spring from behind home plate by Ward. He just couldn't handle the transition to the throwing hand. Bounced up there, and picking third base is Mitchell after this one comes back to the screen just in front of us. So what started out as a promising start to the top of the 7th inning, Tuskegee with 2 outs pretty quickly here, but now it's got a run at a third, Benedict does, with Hall after he was hit in the back with a pitch. Got to second, stole second, now on a wild pitch over the third with 2 down. Mason, 0-3 count is high for ball forward, and down to first base goes Mitchell. So a hit batsman, and now a walk, and we go back to the top of the order for the Tigers of Benedict. Taking off of the shin guards now is Gardito. And Gardito, the catcher, will come to the plate for Benedict. He's had a productive day from the plate as well. Got on a base on balls, flew out, got hit by a pitch, so he's been on the pads a couple of times for the Tigers of Benedict. This time comes up with runners on the corners. Throw over the first base, throw over there, and just diving back in is Mitchell under that throw. Hall is at third, Gardito at the plate. Mason on the mound. 2 down, top of the 7th. 0 on the board would be good for Tuskegee and its momentum. Here's the pitch, swung on, popped up by Gardito. Scott Williams angling back behind first base. That one falls just outside of the Benedict bullpen for strike 1. Not sure if Scott thought he had a fence line there in front of him or not. That ball fell about 3 or 4 feet in front of him. I think he may have thought he had a fence line there. He couldn't run through. It'll go for a strike. And Mason ahead in the count to Gardido. Throw back over the first. We're live in the top of the 7th here at Washington Field, Tuskegee University, Tuskegee, Alabama, on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Charles Ward here, our entire production crew. Down the second base goes Mitchell. Likely on catcher indifference there as he took second. At third base is Hall. And here's a pitch there, looped out in the left field, home run distance, but that one's wide of the foul pole. Gardido got all of that on the swing, but it's just a long strike. So the count now at 1-2 with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Runners at third and second. Here's the pitch. Out, popped up deep to left field, but plenty of room back there is Pratt. Pratt makes the grab, and the Tigers retired here in the top of the 7th. Score remains 6-1. Tuskegee to the plate here at bottom of the 7th.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.
6-1 lead for the Tigers of Benedict. Tuskegee. Bottom of the 7th. Couple of chances left here. See if they can't flip this scoreboard. Duran still on the mound for the Tigers of Benedict. Showing no signs of tiring there on the mound. So Tuskegee's going to have to chase him off that mound. They'll send up Scott Williams to start things here in the bottom of the 7th, followed by John Saffold and Jabari Johnson. Johnson tripled back in the 5th, eventually pushed across after a hit from James Slaughter for Tuskegee's only run of this ball game so far. Williams set to come to the plate. Scott, last time up, flew out to center field. I beg your pardon, struck out for Tuskegee. Lined out to Duran in the bottom of the 2nd. So his 2 times up in the ball game this afternoon. Swings at their first pitch and fouls it back on a fastball from Duran. Curveball. Williams out in front of that. And quickly behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Bottom dropped out of that one from Duran on that curveball. 0-2 delivery. And that one just off the plate. So Williams stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's the delivery from Duran. Curveball chopped on out in center field. Good, well hit there. Mitchell back to the baseline, and that one hits the fence on the fly. Scott at second base. He'll turn the corner, head at the 3rd, and Scott will be in there with a stand-up triple for Tuskegee. Good work there by Scott Williams to stay patient at the plate as he was down in the count, but found a pitch that he could stretch those arms out across the plate and just drove it deep to center field. Thought he might have gotten all of it, but then he turns on the jet's air as he turns the corner at first base and looked at that all the way. Once it got over the head of Mitchell in center field, Scott Williams all the way over to the third base, and he's in good shape, and so is Tuskegee to start the bottom of the seventh. Saffold at the plate for Tuskegee, took that first pitch low, spits on that one for ball one. John flew out to center field his last time. Takes that pitch high in the zone now. 2 balls, no strikes. Still no activity in the Benedict bullpen. Nobody down here in the bottom of the seventh. Scott Williams at third. Pitch there swung on and missed by Saffold. That was a fastball. John liked the pitch, just did not catch up with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, or 2 balls, 1 strike, beg your pardon. Scott Williams at third. Duran rocks and fires. This one chopped on and fouled out of play right side by Saffold. So John now with a 2-2, got to guard that plate for Tuskegee. Duran with the pitch. Swung on, back up at the middle, fielded by the shortstop. Only play is over to first base. Sliding there is Joya with the throw over to Murray to retire Saffold, but John does his job. He gets Williams across the plate, and Tuskegee registers its second run of the ball game after the triple and the ground ball from Saffold. So 1 down here in the bottom of the seventh. That'll bring up Jabari Johnson. Jabari tripled early in the bottom of the fifth for Tuskegee. He scored that run prior to this one. Pitch there from Duran at the knees with a fastball, and that was over for a strike. 1 down, 1 in already. That pitch up in the zone, count to 1-1. Duran on the 1-1, and that curveball got away from him just a little bit there up near the helmet area for Jabari Johnson. Count to 2-1, 1 down, bottom of the seventh. Tuskegee's already cut into that deficit. They trail now 6-2. 2-1, and that's off the plate. Count to 3-1 now. Jabari will take the walk with no question for Tuskegee. It's all about base runners for the Golden Tigers. Duran rocks and fires on the 3-1. That's a strike with a fastball, splitting the plate with the pitch. Full count, delivery, and that's ball 4. Johnson, he'll draw the walk, and that'll bring up the catcher, Samarian Ward. So Johnson's aboard. Ward to the plate. Popped up to the pitcher, Duran, his last time up. Ball got caught up in the wind a little bit, but Duran was able to circle under it for the catch. 1 down, here's the pitch. That one swung on and missed by Ward. Count now 1 balls, 1 strike. Slight lead at first base there from Johnson. From the stretch, Duran throws over that way, and Jabari dives back in. Still a breeze blowing here inside the baseball complex. 0-1 delivery on its way. That one over for the strike from Duran. He's ahead in the count, no balls, 2 strikes to the catcher, Ward. Throw back over, close this time. Diving in underneath the throw is Johnson for Tuskegee. One down, bottom of the seventh. Duran peering back over to Johnson at first. Throwing back over this time, and Johnson underneath the tag again. 0-2 to Ward. And Duran to the plate. This one chopped out, the line drive out in the gap. That'll get down and roll to the fence line. Ward got all of that one. He'll circle the base, headed towards second base, and waving from third. They'll send Johnson, throw at the plate. That'll be late. Ward holds at second base with the double. And he gets Johnson to the plate for TU. So Tuskegee striking for 2 already here in the bottom of the 7th. As Ward caught up with a fastball and just drove it out to center field all the way to the fence line. Good stroke there by Ward, and right there in the gap between left and center, all the way to the fence. You see Johnson in the background circling second, now coming around third, and he scored, and Ward in there with that double, and he'll get the RBI, and Johnson crosses the plate. It's exactly what Tuskegee needs here, is that late push. And this one, a bunt there, diving, can't come up with it, and he's safe at first base is James Slaughter. A little halfway bunt there down the line, and diving for it was the third baseman, Canty. He could not field it on the fly. As you take a look at the replay there, so safe at first. That was the bunt there by Slaughter. Trying to catch it in the air was Canty, not able to do that, so Tuskegee now. They'll have runners at second and first as Slaughter gets aboard. And now Coach Selwyn Young coming to the mound for Benedict. Not sure if they're going to go with a pitching change here or not. They did not have anybody throwing in the bullpen, but it looks like that will be the end of the line for Duran. As they're still talking to him, I think they're just trying to encourage him a little bit. You take a look at that replay, running down the line to get the first base, stretching it was Slaughter on the bunt. Caught Canty a little bit back, playing back on the line. So Slaughter was aboard, and down to second on the play. It went Ward. Or down to second, I beg your pardon. Ward was not able to move at third as that play was just in front of him. But Slaughter able to get on for Tuskegee, so the runner's at second and first. And at the plate, back at the top of the order is Pratt for Tuskegee. 1 down, bottom of the 7th. Pitch to Pratt, swings and misses at a fastball. So 2 across for Tuskegee, 1 down. Ward at second, Slaughter at first. Pratt at the plate, down in the count, no balls, 1 strike. Duran with the pitch. This one chopped on by Pratt, just in front of the Benedict dugout, and catching that one at the baseline of the dugout was Murray. Murray doing very similar to what Scott Williams did for Tuskegee a few innings ago, just in front of the GTSN van at the fence line. Had enough room, able to reach out and make the grab, and they retire Pratt on the foul out. So 2 down now, and it'll be up to Devin Lee to move the runners over. 6-3 lead, pitch in. Devin lines one out, and it'll get down on the grass out in left right field. Coming toward the plate, and he'll slide in and score. Scott Williams down to second base. Lee slides in there at second, and over at third base is James Slaughter for Tuskegee. So some timely hitting there. Devin Lee asking for the timeout after he drove in a run with a base hit to right field. Devin, first pitch swinging, got the pitch he wanted, got it down in front of Jacob Hall there. Hall trying to relay it on the infield, got it in play, but down to second goes Lee on the throw toward the plate, and Tuskegee has made it a 2-run ball game now. RBI to Devin Lee on a base hit out to right field. So that scored Ward, and that'll push John Slaughter down at third, and Lee took the second base on the throw. And now to the plate comes Ryan Morrow. Morrow due for some luck at the plate now. Struck out twice in this ball game. Takes that first pitch for a fastball over for a strike from Duran. 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. All of a sudden, it's a 6-4 ball game. Duran rocks and fire his curveball. Morrow trying to stay on top of it, but fouls it off right side. So Ryan down in the count now to Duran. Slaughter at third. Devin Lee down at second. Base hit will get them both in and tie it at 6. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed by Morrow. So Ryan's retired, was trying to get those runners across, but he strikes out there for the 3rd time in the ball game. But Tuskegee able to push 3 across here in the bottom of the 7th. That'll make it 6-4 as we head into the 8th.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Brown, class of 1986, president of Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. We're live here at Washington Field. Tuskegee with a big bottom of the 7th inning, pushing 3 across to cut the deficit 6-4 as we head into the top of the 8th. So the Golden Tigers, knowing the importance of this ball game, really the bats coming alive in that bottom of the 7th. They cut it to 2. Joya coming to the plate now for the Tigers of Tuskegee. Nicholas Joya. Last time up, got hit by a pitch in the bottom of the top of the 6th inning. And Mikael Mason back there on the mound with new life for Tuskegee. Rocks and fires, first pitch to Joya. Curveball inside, but off the plate for ball 1. Must-win series for Tuskegee. First of 3, doubleheader action tomorrow here at Washington Field. Curveball popped up. Scott Williams chasing toward the fence line again, and this one just out of play. Williams giving chase with just way too much traffic over there to navigate some of the players for Benedict standing on the rail and just at the fence line. So count to 1-1 on Joya. Mikael rocks and fires for Tuskegee. Fastball up in the zone for ball 2. Mason trying to hold him right here, scoring-wise. And pitch there is over for a ball. And just had the GTS intent blow up there. And there's a walk to Joya. A little maintenance attention here to our GTS intent. Almost lost it into the backstop. Meanwhile, Joya got a walk there from Mason, and that brings on head coach Chadwick Hall. We talked about this early in the ball game, that if Tuskegee got closer in terms of the run deficit, you might see Mason depart the ball game. And you see here in the top of the 8th as he gives up that walk to Joya, Coach Hall making a pitching change here, and rightfully so. You got to play that strategy as it's presented to you. With 2 ball games tomorrow, you don't want to burn your bullpen in a ball game that you don't have a chance of winning. But right now, Tuskegee cutting that deficit to just 2 runs. They will close the book on Mason. Mason with a good job in the last few innings of the ball game. Posted zeros for the Tigers of Benedict over the 7th and 6th inning, but gives up a walk here to start the top of the 8th, and Tuskegee will have a pitching change. As they do so, we'll take a break and tell you about the new pitcher after this time out on GTSN.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
New pitcher for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee, Jabari Johnson, the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia. Jabari already doubling in this ball game as a designated hitter. Now he'll go to the mound for TU to take over the ball from Mikael Mason. Mason, over 7 innings worth of work, gave up 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and he'll depart the baseball game. And Johnson on the mound now for Tuskegee. He'll inherit 1 runner at first base, and that's Nicholas Joya, who just got the walk from Mason. And we're live in the top of the 8th. It's a 6-4 lead for the Tigers of Benedict. Jabari being asked to stop it right here and not let another runner across, or let a run cross here in the top of the 8th for Tuskegee. So Tuskegee with the bats able to cut into that deficit, now within striking range in a ball game that's an absolute must-win for the Golden Tigers. 3 games set against the Tigers of Benedict College here at Washington Field over the weekend. Tuskegee right now number 10 in the baseball standings in the SIAC. The top 8 go to the conference tournament first week in May. Tuskegee got a bounce over Morehouse and Clark Atlanta, who are in the 9th and 8th spots. And Tuskegee with this series against Benedict, and a big series again next weekend against the Dragons Lane College here at Washington Field. Chance to do it on their own if they can win these series and then maybe bounce ahead of these other 2 teams. But if not, they're going to need some help from Morehouse and Clark Atlanta. Morehouse with Spring Hill, Edward Waters, and Savannah State still left on their conference schedule. And Clark Atlanta with Kentucky State, Savannah State, and Edward Waters still left on its schedule as well. Savannah State number 2 in the standings, Spring Hill number 1, Edward Waters at number 3. So Tuskegee, if they could just really kind of hold their own here and do some damage in terms of their series, good opportunity for them to get into that top 8 and into the tournament. Right now, Isaiah Canty steps in. Canty has been a strikeout victim 3 times in this ball game, all at the hands of Mikael Mason. So Jabari Johnson will be stepping on the mound to see if he can't duplicate some of the work that Mikael did on Canty early in this ball game. Joya at first base. Nobody out here at top of the 8th. First pitch out of the zone by Johnson on a fastball. Jabari from the stretch. Came in relief in Wednesday against a ball game of Point University. Pitches here. This one swung on and fouled out of play by Canty. His first pitching appearance by Johnson in the ball game against Point middle of the week. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 strikeout, 1 base on balls in that ball game. 1-1 set here to Canty. Here's the pitch, bounced up there. Good block there by Ward behind the plate to hold Joya at first base. 2-1 to count. Johnson back to the stretch. That pitch off the plate for a ball. And the count to 3-1 at Canty. Justin Murray on deck for the Tigers of Benedict. Jabari wants to get that bat active of Canty, see if he can't get a ground ball here. 3-1 delivery. Pitch is over but low for ball 4. So Canty gets to walk here, and it's back-to-back walks here to start the top of the 8th. So 2 aboard now for the Tigers of Benedict, and back to the plate comes Justin Murray. Murray doubled back in the 5th. unload the bases. Comes to the plate here with 2 aboard and nobody out in the top of the 8th. Johnson peers back at Joy at second. First pitch is low for ball 1. So Jabari stepping off now. Canty at first, Joy at second. Top of the 8th, nobody out. Johnson to the plate with the pitch. Same location off the plate for ball 2. Two balls, no strikes. Murray awaits. Here's the pitch. Swung on and on the ground. That's a fair ball. Down the line, left field line, coming around to score is Joya, and over the third base goes Canty, and in the second base goes Murray. After he hit it right down the line, I believe it got the bag and squibbed away from Alex Glass at third and down in the corner. So just like that, the Tigers answer with a run across here in the top of the 8th with nobody out. You hear the saying all the time in baseball that walks will kill you. And Joya got on a walk to start things off. Canty walked, and now Murray with that double down the line, his second double of the ball game, and he plates a runner, and Canty stands at third, and Murray down at second as the left fielder, Jaquez Atkins, steps in the box now for Benedict, and still nobody out here, top of the 8th inning. Lead to 7-4. Johnson from the stretch, and the pitch. Curveball over, but off the plate for ball 1. Jabari with the pitch. That one at the corner for a strike, 1-1. Fellows on deck for Benedict. Curveball down the line and just wide of the chalk for foul ball down the left field lines. So Jabari ahead in the count now, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at third and second. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Atkins. Jabari towing that rubber. Pitch count starts. And at 13, he delivers a pitch. This one on the ground. Stabbed there by Williams. Throw to the plate. It's high, and sliding under the throw is Canty, and he's safe at home plate. Williams with a better throw to the plate. Perhaps they have a shot at him, but that one had to elevate Ward out of his stance. And Canty sliding under that. He got home for the Tigers of Benedict to score. So down to first goes Atkins. And over to third goes Murray. And the inning continues for the Tigers as Carson Fellows, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. Flew out to right field his last time up, singled in the 5th, doubled in the 3rd, and he singled in the 2nd. Pitch by Johnson, good curveball there, and Fellows off stride with a strike. Johnson with the pitch, another curve, bounced up there, but Ward able to smother that one to keep it from going behind the stop. Still nobody down here for the Tigers of Benedict here in the top of the 8th. They've already pushed 2 across. They've got 1 man standing at third, another at first, and at the plate is a designated hitter. Going from first, pitch there, swung on out in the center field, backpedaling a Saffold near the fence line. Saffold throws up the glove and makes the catch there near the fence line, but that's well deep enough to score Murray from third base on the sacrifice fly. So third run across now for the Tigers. First out of the inning for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Murray scored there. Atkins holding down. He'll be down at second, or still at first base, not able to tag on that play as the throw came in the second base. Omido now at the plate for the Tigers. Takes the first pitch that's bounced up there and in between the legs of Ward into the backstop. And down the second base goes Atkins for the Tigers of Benedict. Tuskegee coming into the top of the eighth, had it at 6-4. They did a good job offensively in the bottom of the seventh to score 3 to cut it to 2, but now it's pushed back to 5 after a couple of walks and a sacrifice fly. Has gotten a few runs across for Benedict here, 3 in the top of the eighth. There's a pitch at the top of the zone for a strike from Johnson. 1 down. Atkins at second base for Benedict. Omido at the plate. Pitch, curveball. Laying off of it is Omido. And laying off the call was Scott Wynn from behind the plate, saying it was just off the plate, and the count to 2-1. Pitch there, curveball, but on the inside for another ball. (3-1) to count. Atkins down at second base. Johnson to the plate. Didn't mean to swing there. Looking back there, throw over the first. They'll get Omido there, but over to third now goes Atkins after the throw down to first base. So they retire Omido, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Jacob Hall. Hall plunked in the back last time he was up at the plate. Got a walk. Did not come around to score in that frame for Benedict. 2 out here now in the top of the eighth inning. And Hall fouls the first pitch off. Atkins down at third base for Benedict. Tuskegee would love to leave him right there after 3 have already crossed for Benedict here in the top of the eighth. Curveball, that's off the plate for ball 1. Johnson on in relief of Mikael Mason, the senior. Jabari with a 1-1 pitch here. Curveball misses off the plate. Now the count to 2-1. That pitch high in the zone. Hall with a 3-1, be very selective about this pitch. He's got to be right there in his wheelhouse for him to swing. Otherwise, he'll take the base on balls. Swings at that pitch and fouls it off right side. Tuskegee in the bottom of this half will send up Glass, Scott Williams, and Saffold to start the bottom half of the eighth. Johnson with the pitch, bounced it up there. And Hall takes the walk for Benedict. So Hall is aboard. He got hit by a pitch in the seventh, gets a base on balls here in the top of the eighth. So now they have him at the corners, and stepping in is the center fielder, Jamil Mitchell. 9-4 lead for Benedict after he came into the top of the eighth with a 6-4 lead. Johnson from the stretch, high in the zone for ball 1. Canty at third, Hall at first. 2 down, top of the eighth. Johnson, curveball. in too tight for ball 2. Start that one a little bit wider on the plate to get it to cross over in the zone. That one up, elevated and high. Tuskegee with several pitchers warming in the bullpen. Johnson, since coming on in relief, has struggled from the hill for Tuskegee. 3-0 here and a 4-pitch walk there to Mitchell, and they load the bases. So Atkins at third, Hall down to second, and now Mitchell aboard at first, and they go back to the top of the lineup. And it'll be Juan Gardito to step in at the plate with the sacks full. He flew out to left field his last time up. Scored in the third. And Scott Wynn, the umpire, getting set to break up the conference for Tuskegee at the mound. No place to put Gardado. Base is full, 2 down, top of the 8th inning. Atkins at third, Hall at second, and Mitchell at first. Johnson rocks and fires. First pitch over for a strike for Tuskegee. It's throw some strikes and take your chances here. You know what's going to happen if you walk them. Oh, 1. Jabari, curveball, nice pitch, good selection there. 0-2. You're ahead in accounts if you can't get him to chase something off the plate here. 0-2 delivery, bounced it up there. Good block by Ward to keep it in front of him to hold Canty at third. They were trying to see if they couldn't get Gardado to chase at something, did not. Big pitch here for Jabari, ahead in the count. 1-2 delivery, curveball chopped on, dribbler to Glass, flips across the diamond to retire Gardado, and the Tigers in the top of the 8th. But Benedict pushes across 3 to stretch their lead from 6-4 coming into this frame to 9-4 in Tuskegee, bottom half of the 8th. They're going to answer here. It'll be Williams, Saffold, and Johnson to the plate for Tuskegee in the bottom half.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Back live here at Washington Field, Tuskegee trailing at 9-4 to the Tigers of Benedict College. Tuskegee trying to answer a 3-run push by the Tigers in their top half of the 8th. Scott Williams will be at the plate for Tuskegee. So Scott Williams to the plate for Tuskegee. He'll be followed by Saffold. And Jabari Johnson. I beg your pardon, it'll be Alex Glass to start things off here in the bottom of the 8th, then Scott Williams. Duran still on the mound, fires that first pitch over for a strike as Alex swings through that pitch. Alex struck out his last time up. Duran, curveball there, that's over for a strike. Glass not happy about that call there. He'll step out of the box, kind of flinging back that right hand in frustration after the call from Scott Wynn. 0-2 pitch. This one swung on and missed, and a 3-pitch strikeout there of Alex Glass. Glass really kind of frustrated at that second pitch call for a strike, and out of frustration on that last swing, strikes out here. So that'll bring up Scott Williams now in the lineup. Scott tripled his last time up, and Sappho to follow him. Scott trying to get on again. Duran with the pitch on the corner for strike one. Braylon Duran, the junior from New York. Swing and a miss there by Scott Williams on a fastball low in the zone. So Duran working quickly here, ahead in the count to Scott Williams. 0-2 delivery, swung on and missed. So back-to-back strikeouts there by Duran with Glass retired. And now Scott Williams and John Sappho trying to see if he can't keep this bottom of the 8th going for Tuskegee. Got a substitution in the lineup for Tuskegee. Won't be Sappho batting. It'll be Eli Spates, the sophomore from Birmingham, in the lineup to bat now for Tuskegee. So Coach Hall trying to shake things up as Sappho, a difficult day from the plate. He'll send up Eli. See if he can't get something going. Duran ready to work here. 2 down, first pitch. Fastball at the knees for strike one on Eli. He can taste the finish line for the Tigers of Benedict. Rocks and fires here. Another fastball, same location for a strike. He's trying to strike out the side here in the bottom of the 8th. Readies and ready to rock and fire here. 0-2 count on Eli Spates, and here's the pitch from Duran. That one chopped on and bounced there. It's a fair ball, and Spates running down the line was looking back to see if it was going to be called fair or foul instead of running the line. But it did go over the bag, attempted to be fielded by Canty there behind the bag, but not able to field it fairly. So aboard is Spates for Tuskegee. As you take a look at the replay there, that one chopped on. You got him going down the line, and look at Eli. He thought it was foul, never did hear a call, and finally runs it through at first base to get aboard for Tuskegee. Now that'll bring up Jabari Johnson, who is the designated hitter to start this ball game. Now the pitcher for Tuskegee. So one aboard here, bottom of the 8th. Duran to the plate, pitch high and out of the zone, throw back down the first base. Eli sliding back in. And 1 ball's no count, no strikes on Jabari Johnson. Duran was threatening to strike out the side here in the bottom of the 8th, but Eli got aboard, and now here's a ground ball to the shortstop. Joya flips it down to Omidu at second base, and Tuskegee retired here in the bottom of the 8th. They put one on, and they leave Spates at first. We head to the 9th. Benedict with a 9-4 lead.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Golden Tiger fans, this is Jordan Benson, your Sports Information Director, and thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU!
Back live here at Washington Field, we head to the 9th. Jabari Johnson still on the hill for Tuskegee. Trying to push his way through this frame to keep it at 9-4, and then hope that the Tuskegee bats will come alive in the bottom of the 9th inning. Brief spat of rain, only about 30 seconds worth, mid-range of this baseball game. Nothing since then. Winds continue to blow here inside the complex, coming in from our right to left. On a Friday afternoon baseball, back here tomorrow with doubleheader action from Washington Field, sandwiched in between the spring scrimmage game for Tuskegee football and Tuskegee tennis, men and women, up at the PepsiCo Tennis Center, just at the entry of Logan Hall on the campus of Tuskegee University. So a big Saturday of fun activities from the athletics complex at Tuskegee. Come out and join us. Start out with the scrimmage game with football. That'll go a little bit earlier, about 11, and then tennis likely starting about that same time, and then baseball at 1 o'clock. Get your fill of all three here at Tuskegee. Johnson with the first pitch to Joya, who steps in, takes that pitch off the plate for ball 1. Don't want the deficit to get any larger as Johnson fires that 1-0 pitch and up top in the zone to take it 2 balls, no strikes. Roxon fires. This one swung on and popped up, backpedaling near behind third base is Glass. Glass fighting the wind, falls to the turf out in left field, but able to hang on to that baseball for out number 1. The wind's blowing. It's a little tricky here at Washington Field, that left-right wind. And that was on the left side of the infield, but Alex able to stay with it for out number 1 here in the top of the 9th. That'll bring up Isaiah Canty. Canty able to score in the 8th. Took that first pitch over from a strike from Johnson. Jabari Roxon fires. This one on the ground. Devin Lee scoops that up. Lost it on transition, but able to re-glove it and fire over to Scott Williams for out number 2. On transition there, Devin just kind of flipped it to his throwing hand, almost lost it there, but regains and threw a dart across to Scott to retire Canty. So that'll bring up Justin Murray. Murray's had a big day for the Tigers of Benedict. Drove in 3 on a double he had early on. Swings at the first pitch and fouls that one off right side. So Jabari very deliberate about his work here in the top of the 9th. Obviously out there on instruction to hold them right where they are. That pitch off the plate for ball 1. 2 down, top of the 9th. Tuskegee trailing 9-4. Curveball, that's over. Good pitch there from Jabari. Good change of pace, good location on the inside. Broke right across the plate, so he's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down, top of the 9th. 1-2 delivery. That one's foul tipped at the plate and held on to there by Ward for out number 3. Murray doesn't agree. Doesn't matter about that. We end the top of the 9th. Tuskegee coming to the plate, trailing by 5, 9-4. See if they can't make a comeback here in the bottom frame.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Hi, Tuskegee fans. I'm Coach Chad Hall, your head baseball coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU.
And we're back live here at Washington Field. Do or die time for Tuskegee. They trail 9-4 as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Last chance here against the Tigers of Benedict in game 1 of a 3-game series. We've got 2 coming your way here tomorrow on GTSN, but Tuskegee would love to go into Saturday's play with the momentum of coming back from 5 down in the bottom of the ninth. We'll be right here. We'd like to see them do that. Golden Tigers getting ready to send up. The batter looks like it's going to be Samarian Ward to start things off here in the bottom of the ninth for Tuskegee. And the Tigers of Benedict now, they've gone with a new pitcher here to start the bottom of the ninth. They'll go with Timon Holloman. Holloman, a redshirt sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. This will be his 11th appearance for the Tigers of Benedict, so close the book on Brilliant Duran, but Duran with a wonderful job for the Tigers of Benedict. First pitch to Ward from Holloman is over for a strike. Line on Duran, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs and 9 hits to the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. So he took them all the way to the ninth. That pitch up in the zone. Ward takes that one for ball 1. Ward will be followed by Slaughter in the lineup for Tuskegee. Bottom of the ninth. Holloman with the pitch, curveball. That one's off the plate. And the count to 2-1. Tuskegee definitely needs base runners here. Can get on any way you can here. Ward ahead in the count, 2-1. That pitch over but low and tight, 3-1 on Samarian. So Ward with a chance now to perhaps get a walk if he can survey this next pitch. If it's off the plate, take it to get the first. 3-1 delivery from Holloman. That one's up in the zone, so Ward draws the walk to start things off. Bottom of the ninth. And here we go, folks. See if Tuskegee can pull it off here. So Ward with the walk, he's up, and here comes James Slaughter to the plate. Slaughter drove in a run on a little base hit on the infield. Substitute runner now for Ward, getting set to come on the first base. That's Terry Ware, the sophomore from Montgomery, Alabama. So obviously Ware with a little bit better wheels than Ward, as Ward drew the walk, and Slaughter gets ready to step in for Tuskegee. Holloman with an ERA of 5.9. He has 1 save on the season for Benedict. This is not a save situation here. First pitch by Holloman is off the plate. Attempted bunt there. This time Slaughter takes his pitch for a strike. Count to 1-1. Ware takes the lead at first. Pitch again. That one at the knees, but just below it, and that's ball 2. 2-1 to Slaughter. Top of the order. Pratt waits on deck. Pitch there up high in the zone. Count to 3-1. No question about it. Tuskegee needs base runners, and they'll take them. Ward walked. Ware replaced him on the pads. That one's up in the zone, and now Slaughter walks. So back-to-back walks. And Nicholas Pratt comes to the plate for Tuskegee. Pratt popped up behind the plate last time up. Ware down at second. Slaughter at first, nobody out, bottom of the ninth. Holloman to the plate with the pitch. That one over for a strike. And now Nicholas will get the bat ready here. Wanted to see a strike first before he gets geared up with this bat. Nobody out, bottom of the ninth. 2 aboard, 9-4 lead for Benedict. Holloman to the plate on the pitch. This one tight in the zone for ball 1. Devin Lee on deck. Ryan Morrow to follow him. Good situation here for Tuskegee. They can keep players on these base pads. 2 aboard right now. Holloman with the pitch. That one off the plate, and a good eye there by Nicholas Pratt. Pratt spitting on a fastball just off the plate, and the count goes to 2-1. Holloman readies. Pitch clock at 10. To the plate with the pitch. That one on the corner for a strike, and he takes it even at 2-2. Now Pratt got to really protect the plate here. Nobody out with 2 on. 2-2 delivery. Holloman to the plate with the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Pratt. Nicholas saw what he liked, just could not come clean on the pitch, and he strikes out here. So 1 down, bottom of the ninth. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Devin Lee. Devin singled his last time up, flew out to center in the 6th, singled in the 4th, and he flew out to left in the 1st inning. Holloman, 1 down behind him now. 2 runners aboard for Tuskegee. Pitch to the plate. Lee swings at it. Good cut by Devin. Way out of play down the right field line. And we'll reset it here. Straighten that one out. 346 down to the flag in right field. Had home run distance on that swing. Benedict by 5. Tuskegee 2 aboard, bottom of the ninth. 0-1 count to Devin. Holloman looks at second, comes to the plate with the pitch. Throw down to second base, sliding in there on the steal. Taking second base there. Tuskegee now with runners at the corner as Slaughter got into second base, and over to third goes Ware. So Tuskegee with them just 90 feet closer at second and third. 1-1 to Devin. Holloman to the plate, swings, and the pitch fouled off by Devin. Back behind us, and the count to 1-2. So Devin tightening up now, got to protect the plate. 1-2 delivery from Holloman. That one offered at, but Devin able to hold off on the swing. Count to 2-2. Two delivery from Holloman. And the pitch, curveball. Devin poked at it, but it came to Holloman at the mound. He'll get the runner, let Devin at first to take the sure out. And crossing the plate for Tuskegee is Ware to make it 9-5. And Tuskegee now with Ryan Morrow coming to the plate. He's the final chance for Tuskegee here in the bottom of the ninth. So Ware running for Ward, who drew the walk, comes across the plate, and Ryan Morrow struck out his last 3 times at the plate. Holloman with a curveball just under the chin of Ryan for ball 1. Slaughter over at third. That pitch in for a strike on Morrow. Holloman and Benedict not concerned about Slaughter at third at all. Their concentration is Ryan at the plate. 1-1 count tomorrow. Here's the pitch. Curveballs swung on and a little looper there, caught by the shortstop Joya. And that is where this first ball game ends. Here at Washington Field, it is a 9-5 win for the Tigers of Benedict in game 1 of a 3-game set. So on day 1, Benedict able to stave off Tuskegee, who made a charge late in the ball game, just not able to complete it. They win it 9-5. Benedict does. We'll take a break, wrap things up, and get you set for tomorrow's action here from Washington Field.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
I'm Rolandus Rice, Chief Operating Officer and the Vice President for Student Affairs at Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tigers Sports Network.
And we're back live here at Washington Field. You take a look at the scoreboard. 9-5 win for the Tigers of Benedict over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. First of 3 over the weekend, 2 more tomorrow here from Washington Field. And Tuskegee certainly hoping for a better result on the scoreboard after tomorrow's play. Tuskegee with the loss falls to 12-26 and 8-17 in SIAC play. And the win for Benedict pushes them to 16-10. And 14-10 in conference play. They came in at number 5 in conference standings. Tuskegee came in at number 10, and they're going to have to really change things tomorrow in terms of winning at least one of those ball games tomorrow, ideally both of them, to kind of stay in contention to get into those top 8 as it relates to the conference tournament at the end of the season. Not all bad for Tuskegee on this Friday afternoon of baseball. Some good highlights to show you from Tuskegee's loss to the Tigers of Benedict. Starting on the mound, it was Mikael Mason with a good job for Tuskegee. Mason going up into the 8th inning, stretching, got 3 strikeouts over that course of time for Tuskegee. Really answered in some big situations. And with the bats, Jabari Johnson kind of got things going for Tuskegee with a triple. Then you see him sliding in the 3rd there. And then John Saffold with a ground ball there. He is able to score. Scott Williams to give Tuskegee a run. And Devin Lee, the shortstop, Lee, with some good job there, and he got a run across, and Tuskegee in that ball game. With some highlights in the contest, just not able to hold things down on the mound when they cut it to 6-4, gave up a couple of runs in the following couple of innings, and it's kind of got away from there at the end. It's Benedict able to win it. 9-5 at the end of the day against the Tigers of Tuskegee on day 1 of a 3-game set. Reminder, we're back here tomorrow with a whole host of activities going on the Tuskegee campus as it relates to athletics. The spring football game coming at 11. Make your plans to come out there for that. They got tennis going on tomorrow morning against Tuskegee hosting Alabama A&M on the courts at tennis up near Logan Hall. And right here at Washington Field, baseball starting at 1 o'clock. So bring your kids, anybody else, friends, family, come out and enjoy a day of athletics at Tuskegee on a nice Saturday. It's projected to be weather-wise for a good day of activities. A lot of other things going on in terms of festivities. You can join in, and you can meet some of the juniors here at Tuskegee, because it's junior day here at Tuskegee as well. And of course, we'll be here with coverage of Tuskegee baseball on GTSN. Special thanks to Tuskegee President Dr. Mark Brown, Chief Operating Officer Dr. Rolandus Rice, Executive Director and Producer of the Golden Tiger Sports Network, and Athletics Director Reginald Ruffin, Deputy Chief Athletics Director Deborah Rogers, Nick Brown, Operations Manager, and Jordan Benson, Sports Information Director, and to our wonderful crew here at GTSN for our coverage here on an overcast day at Washington Field. An outstanding job in covering the ball game from first pitch to the final out. We'll do the same thing for you tomorrow here on GTSN. Until then, Charles Wood saying thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon, and we'll see you right back here at Washington Field right before 1 o'clock for first pitch with the Golden Tigers hosting the Tigers of Benedict. Until then, have a good evening. This has been a production of the Golden Tigers Sports Network.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Golden Tiger fans, this is Jordan Benson, your Sports Information Director, and thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU!